unbelievable performance by my guest at this time, blues brother Tom "Bones" Malone, and the Briefcase Full of Blues Orchestra. Bones, just an incredible trombonist. He's probably the best dressed trombonist on TV, having been with the CBS Orchestra with David Letterman for 15 years, but probably known as much for that as for being a member of the original Blues Brothers band, the Blues Brothers movie. First off, you just finished the performance here in Syracuse. You've played with this band before. What was the energy like out there, and how'd you enjoy it?
This is a terrific band. Syracuse is loaded with great musicians, and this all Syracuse band, vocalists, musicians, everything, just absolutely great. And
how did this Briefcase Full of Blues Orchestra originate, really?
Well, Larry Luttinger at the Central New York Jazz Society approached me with this idea. He wanted me to come up and what could we do, and so we threw some ideas around, and one of the ideas was let's do a Blues Brothers act. Yeah. Actually, I threw it at Larry, and Larry jumped on it. So he put a band together for me, and we performed here, and it worked.
Yeah.
And so we've continued on, and this is our third performance.
When the Blues Brothers movie first came out, which I guess was in the 70s, I mean, did you imagine that 30 plus years later, that music and that movie is still kind of iconic to this day?
Well, I was with the Blues Brothers idea from the very beginning, when it was just a sketch idea at Saturday Night Live, and it just grew from a little seed up into this giant thing. I had no idea it was going to go as far as it would go, to to recording, to movies, yeah, I just watched this whole thing mushroom into a giant concept, and we're keeping the concept alive.
You've had a chance to perform with so many incredible people over the years, but people know you so well for the last 15 years being a part of the CBS Orchestra with Paul Schaefer and David Letterman. Do you have any favorite memories? And just in general, what's it like working with guys like Paul and Will Lee and that band night in and night out?
Well, strangely enough, Paul was the original music director for the Blues Brothers. On the Briefcase Full of Blues record, there's Paul Schaefer on the keyboards. So Paul and I have been working together for a very, very long time, and Will Lee and I've been playing on records in New York for quite a while. Right. It's really fun working in the CBS Orchestra. Working with Paul Schaefer is amazing. He has this amazing memory and this amazing ability to pull things out of his memory instantly, to do them spontaneously on the show. So we really sort of have to sit on the edge of our seats. I mean, if we were sitting down, we'd be on the edge of our seats on the show. We're all standing up, and anything could happen, and it's very exciting. It's not a relaxed job, but I really love it. I thrive on that.
Is there one musical guest in the last 15 or so years that head and shoulders above the rest was like the one person that you were like truly excited to share a stage with?
That's a tough question, Eric, but I could say that that James Brown, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, Aretha Franklin, it's so many great moments. It's hard to boil it down to one, but I feel so lucky to have these musical experiences.
Well, we're lucky to have you here in Central New York. I know from here you're going to Pennsylvania to do another event there. And
yes, Jazz Festival at Penn State.
Jazz Festival at Penn State. I know you do a lot of clinics, and I know working with young musicians is very important to you, and you see a lot of talented ones out there.
I sure do. Yeah, there's young musicians coming up. The jazz education system in the schools, from the ground up, from the elementary school, all the way up, is absolutely fantastic. And at this stage of my life, I feel like I should share some of my experience with the younger kids. It's a pleasure to work with the best. This is like one of the best jazz DJs in the United States. I'm sure everybody in Syracuse knows this, but it's an honor to call this man my friend.
That's Tom "Bones" Malone right there, the Briefcase Full of Blues Orchestra, the CBS Orchestra on CBS with The Late Show with David Letterman. It's been our pleasure to have Bones Malone with us. It's your all-access pass to Jazz in the Square 2008.
Thanks so much,
Thanks,
Eric.
Bones.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'd like to thank this great band.